It's Friday, April 11th, and I'm David Song, currency analyst with Daily FX, here to discuss the Dow Jones FXCM US dollar index as well as the euro, as I think it's at a very critical juncture. And of course, we do have ECB President Mr. Mario Draghi speaking over the weekend, so we'll see whether he'll comment on this whole discussion about quantitative easing and, again, the non-standard measures that the ECB is mulling over right now. So we'll be watching that, especially going into the Sunday Open. And also, I'll be watching the pound CAD, guys, going into next week, as we have some big developments not only coming out of the UK with UK CPI and also jobless claims, but we also have the Bank of Canada interest rate decision next week paired with Canada's inflation report as well. So let's just jump into things here, guys. And again, looking at the dollar index, it looks as though for now maybe we could have a little bit more of a meaningful rebound going into next week. And we have some big US data prints to watch and a lot of Fed commentary. But given, and here's where I'm a little bit torn on, again, it is Friday. Market participation does thin going into the weekend. And we did see a very limited market reaction to producer prices, and of course the better than expected UFMISH confidence report that we had just earlier this morning. But given that, guys, it looks as though next week we're gonna have some good prints coming out, namely retail sales. Also, we're looking for a pickup in US inflation, but for the most part, guys, it looks as though we might need a very strong prints coming out of the US economy to really spur more of a bullish dollar reaction, as again it looks as though Fed very comfortable with where it's at, and again it looks as though, at least for now, Ms. Janet Yellen in no real rush to normalize monetary policy. So on that, guys, long term we're still bearish on the dollar, but as it holds up against that 10,400 region, it looks though might have a little bit of a bounce before we could see a full retrace of the October advance. But again, guys, we'll continue to look for opportunities here to get short on the dollar as price as well as the RSI retains the bearish trend from earlier on this year. Euro dollar, again, as I mentioned, we do have Mr. ECB or ECB President Mr. Draghi speaking over the weekend. So again, we'll see whether he'll comment or not. That's the largest risk that I see to the euro dollar rally, where if we do see Mr. Draghi comment that maybe he could show some further willingness and maybe even give us a little bit more of a detailed outlook as well as timing on when they'll look to further embark on the easing cycle. So we'll watch those headlines, guys, but for now I remain bullish on the euro dollar, as again we just carved a higher low earlier this month, and on that, right now, I'll watch the resistance zone. After we cleared 139, I only have the 618 extension, 139.60 to the top side. So it looks as though we could be well on our way to that 140 handle, as long as ECB shows us this continued unwillingness to embark on its easing cycle anytime soon. So again, if we don't hear anything material from Mr. Mario Draghi over the weekend, might see this euro advance continue. And on that, guys, again, 139.60, 139.70, very important. And we'll watch 140 level for some psychological importance there. But the next level that I really watch topside comes in right around the 786 extension, 140, 140.90, 141 handle. So we'll watch that going forward from here with the euro dollar. Also, as I mentioned before, a lot of CAD data, a lot of pound data to watch. So pound CAD, I think it's at a very critical juncture right now. Earlier on this week, we did come into trendline support there, held that very nicely, and also we have this nice bullish break out of the bearish momentum that we were watching on the RSI. So for that, again, we'll watch how the data pans out next week. But for the most part, UK employment report has been very upbeat, and also we expect to see a nice pop in wage growth as well. So if those numbers do come in maybe as expected or even better than expected, could really fuel some expectations and put more pressures on the Bank of England to normalize monetary policy sooner rather than later. However, on the other side, Bank of Canada will watch their interest rate decision as well, and for the most part, we'll see if Mr. Stephen Polis will keep the door open for a potential rate cut there. But with what's happening in the dollar CAD, as I mentioned in my video yesterday, we did have that nice bullish break in the 4-hour momentum and even on the daily for the dollar CAD pair. So on that, guys, I think pound CAD could be at a very similar juncture there. So again, guys, we have a lot of key developments to watch, even beyond the data, guys. As I mentioned before, we do have Ms. Janet Yellen speaking with a lot of other 2014 FOMC voting members as well. So until we see a material shift in the Fed's policy out, guys, it looks as though the bearish sentiment surrounding the dollar will continue for now. But with that, guys, as we head into the weekend, just be mindful that, again, market participation is thinning. So just be careful with some of the trades that you're in. And as always, guys, good luck on your trades and stay prudent.